Hello crafty friends, Lien here from Studio Katoa, and I'm so happy to be back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel today. Today I am sharing a mini slimline card using some newly released goodies. They were released last week, and I am using this beautiful All My Love stamp set, which comes with matching dies, or matching dies are available, which also include dies for the sentiments, which I love. I'm not going to use these particular sentiments today. I'm actually going to use sentiments from another stamp set because I really love the sentiments in that set as well. I am honestly loving the sentiments in the entire release. Obviously, the flowers are amazing, but we're used to that from Crafty Meraki. The sentiments are just really stunning this time around. So I'm starting out with a panel that is slightly larger than I need my final card to be, so I can trim it down later. And I am stamping this rose bunch from the All My Love stamp set on there in Versamark ink, so I will emboss it. I'm prepping my cardstock with an anti-static powder bag for each stamping. I'm stamping it on both sides of the mini slimline panel. Again, it's slightly larger than it needs to be. I'm going to emboss this with some Goldrich Pale embossing powder by Wow. Any embossing powder will do, but I really love the gold for this card. And I'm going to heat set that with the Jewel Speed heat tool as well. After years of card making, I still love how satisfying it is to watch the embossing powder melt when you heat set it. I just love embossing so much. I do it on every single card and I will never get tired of it. Once that is heat set, I'm going to tape it very securely in place on a work surface. This is just a piece of cardstock that I laminated, and I'm going to use some Lindy's Gang Magicals. I also showed some other colors that I won't be using. Actually, I'm just sticking to these two. And as you can see, I made 2 puddles of each color, and for one is the light version of that color, so I added less powder and a lot of water, and the other is very pigmented. I'm starting with the roses themselves, and I am adding that lightest color on all of the roses. I am adding a lot of water, so this is very wet on the page as well, which is perfect because then I can just drop in that pigmented color where I want some, and it will move around on its own, mostly. I stepped away for a bit to grab some tea, I think, and so the first bunch of roses wasn't super wet anymore, but it still worked out. These are Lindy's Gang Magicals, and the beautiful thing about them is that there are plenty of pigments in there. So if you just make a background out of them, you'll get so many colors in there. But because I mix them together in the water, that sort of disappears, but what you still get is the beautiful shimmer in them. And it's so stunning. Now for the leaves, I thought about doing the same as I did with flowers, but I wanted a more abstract look. This was never going to look realistic anyway with these colors. So I painted all of the leaves in that lightest shade again, and then you can see that the leaves are split with one of those vines in the middle, like people usually draw leaves. And I am going to paint one side of the leaves super dark, so I'm just going to add that very pigmented shade on one side, and the other side is going to stay light. I thought that was really striking with those soft roses especially. And it's also really easy to do. Sometimes you can get really stunning coloring by not making it look realistic. I think sometimes that's just the way to go. Now this goes really quickly. Obviously the footage is sped up, but still I don't think I spent more than 10 minutes coloring this. It was really easy to do with these magicals. And once that's done, I'm just going to let it dry before I die cut it. I'm using an older mini slimline stamp or die set for that. This is the Timeless Frames die set by Crafty Meraki, and I'm using the largest one, which is about the size of a mini slimline card, but you know me, when I have a scalloped edge, I don't like my card base to show behind the scallops. So I am going to make my card base a little smaller so no one is going to see that not the entire card is scalloped. So I just die cut a couple of extra frames as well because I wanted that eclipse die cutting, I guess you could call it. There's not much of an eclipse technique going on because everything is colored, but I like that the frame is raised up even though the pattern or the design continues on top of the frame. And here is that smaller card base like I mentioned. I'm just putting glue right on the edge of it to glue the frame down. There's not much of the card base that touches the frame, so you really want to make sure that's perfectly dried and adhered together, and then you can adhere the inside panel as well. And now there's no pesky card base poking out around those scallops. Now for the sentiments, like I said, I'm using a different set. These are really, really stunning sentiments. I love the font and I love that they're a little bit bigger than usual. The stem set is called Bold and Beautiful, and again, it's a gorgeous floral. But again, I'm loving the sentiments in this release. I can't get over them. So I wanted to showcase them. That's what made this card happen, really. That's what inspired this card. I wanted to use a bunch of sentiments. Now, there are no matching dies for the sentiments in that stem set. I just trimmed them out with some scissors. I white embossed them on black cardstock and then trimmed them out, put some foam tape behind them, and then I can just adhere them down on the card. As you can see, I laid out my sentiments how I wanted them and then adhered the middle one first, because if you get that right, you can just adhere the one on top and the one at the bottom based on the placement on the middle one. For the gems, of course, I'm going to use gems. These are also by Crafty Meraki. You know I love the Meraki sparkle. And I actually forgot which color I used, but I think it's, what is it called again? I think it's Arctic something. I will make sure to leave the name of the gems in the description below. I love these. And I also made a matching envelope and forgot to film it, but I just cold heat embossed the flowers on the envelope as well. This is my card. It's really, really simple to make, really simple coloring, but sometimes that can be really striking. I still really love how those leaves turned out, even though it's the simplest coloring I have ever done on a floral design. I hope you liked the card. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know which one of the floral stem sets is your favorite from this release. There are also a bunch of critter stem sets released, and if you're more into critters, let me know as well which one is your favorite there. Mine is definitely the circus one. Now, you definitely want to subscribe to the channel because we have something very, very exciting happening tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that as well, because I'm pretty sure there's another giveaway happening. So stay tuned for that, subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!